Dating advice, he's just not into you, and why? When you get that really excited feeling that you've met somebody wonderful, and then later on you discover that that person is just not into you, despite all of the wonderful thoughts and feelings you have for that person, it can be very disheartening, it could be very painful, and most of all, it could be very corrosive to your self-esteem. But I'm here to take that away, to tell you that it doesn't always have to be the worst case scenario, and it doesn't always mean that something is wrong with who you are as an individual. And sometimes the person not being into you is kind of a good thing. You know, when we hear the terminology, he's just not into you, it often makes you feel a sense of breakdown, a sense of lack of worth, self-doubt, and all of those things. And that is because you have given someone else the right to judge you or to rate you, which means you're not rating your own self very highly. Because had you been rating yourself very highly, you would not look for an outside source to validate who you are. You would be comfortable in yourself, and you would accept that some people are going to like you and some people are not going to like you. And there are all sorts of reasons as to why a person may just not be into you. So here are a couple of reasons why he may not be into you. It's a very common thing that when we meet a person and we start dating, not only do we have a list of the sort of qualities we want in a partner, sometimes going out on a date or beginning to introduce people into our lives can give us a bit of anxiety. A lot of times it sort of makes most people think about what they're bringing to the table and their qualities and their worth, and you can get very caught up in wondering whether or not you are worthy at all for someone else, especially if you have a very negative mindset. So what happens if you go out on a date with a guy and he snubs you after the date, even when you felt that the two of you had so much in common? Instead of beating yourself up and feeling low or unworthy, here are a couple of reasons that he may not be into you. One, who makes the most money? Men place a lot of value and emphasis on being the breadwinner. And if you have a better job than he does, he may already see this as a potential problem. He may see this all the way down the line as what's going to happen when we get together. If she and I are together and we're having this wonderful time, what's going to happen when she really discovers that she makes more money than me? You see, while you're thinking of the immediate moment, he might be projecting into the future moments when money becomes an issue, and that he may end up feeling emasculated, or he may be feeling somewhat challenged at the idea of being with someone who is bringing in more money than he is. So rather than fight that, he may just simply not proceed any further because he already sees the potential problem. Another reason he may not be into you that you may not be thinking of is that men are oftentimes excited by a beautiful woman, in pursuit of a beautiful woman, but that doesn't mean he wants a beautiful woman in his life permanently. I know that may sound very confusing, but sometimes men, it's not all the time, but a lot of times there are men who will not go with a woman that is way more attractive than he is, because then he has to compete with all of the other men who will be fighting for her attention, and he just may not have the confidence to battle such a battle. So he might play all sorts of games with you, leave you hanging, or distance himself from you because he may not be able to handle the fact that you might be a stunning woman, believe it or not. So dating advice number 3, why he's not into you. Are you an ambitious woman? Are you a woman who's a go-getter? Are you a woman that's making movements in life? Is he on the same level as you? Is he an ambitious man? Is he a man that's making movements? Can you compare your drive with his drive? You may not be doing it, but he may already have thought of it. Maybe something that you said to him when you were having dinner might make him think that he's not capable of matching your drive with his. And so, again, rather than fight you off, he may just distance himself from you. Sometimes what looks like rejection might actually be the highest form of flattery. So while you may be humble and you may be able to see the potential or the qualities in him that he's not able to see in himself, he may be projected into the future and realizing that he's simply not able to maintain the struggle that may come along with all of the qualities that you possess that you may not even be aware of in your own self, or you may be aware of it but may be able to be humble enough to choose a partner that isn't necessarily a perfect match, but in his mind, he may perceive it totally differently. And so, if you're looking for validation from another person, this is where you're going to meet with a lot of struggle, because people aren't always going to tell you the truth about yourself, but they will express themselves based on whether they're able to feel comfortable or not with you. So there you have it. If your desire and your goal is to become a absolutely seductive and magnetic being so that others are drawn to you whether or not they perceive you as being an incredible goddess, please click the link inside the video and sit back and listen to a very powerful audio on the effect and power of magnetism and seduction. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and definitely subscribe.